this is DJ. This is Table
Sup?
Scraps.
We're back.
It's like
We're kind. Oh
2:15
my gosh, Aaron!
p.m.
I just realized we're kind of matching, like
Yeah,
with the black and yellow.
yeah, 100%. Wildcats
Whoa!
represent. That's right, Lydia. I
Wow.
fixed it before we started. That's
What, Lydia's in
how.
chat?
Yeah, Lydia is in chat. Apparently, her voice is not quite back yet.
Yeah, Lydia's not cool enough to hang out with us, so
Yeah.
she's just gonna hang out in chat.
So this episode is probably gonna take some terrifying turns, just due to like, I mean, even beforehand, like it was like, all right, we can go live, and dude was like, oh wait, I need a thing. And then I was like, ah, crap, I need some mayo. so
Have some sweet and sour sauce.
the moment Lydia leaves, we're just like, nah, whatever, it's fine. I'll go get myself a
Fine.
sandwich with some mayo on it. It'll be great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, this is
Lydia keeps us in check.
yes, this is. Oh yeah, Lydia has a cool store. Wait, Lydia has a Christmas
True.
collection.
What?
What? I'm
Lydia.
sorry. Thanks for not telling us, Lydia, about that, if that is true.
Okay. moving on.
But yeah, Lydia has a super cool store. You should check it out. We will plug her literally every day until the end of time.
This is a College of Creation. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, I'm literally looking at her
No,
store
you're
right now.
good. Look. I wish that I could be doing the same thing, but I have two screens and both of them are taken up by whatever this is. Lydia, that's not good enough. We should be the first people that you notify about everything
Oh,
we do.
it's her It's the Merry Christmas collection that she. Remember, she sent us the design.
I don't. I'll be 100% honest. I'm sure that I saw it, and I'm sure that it's great, but my memory is
Whoa.
not that good.
That one's pretty cool. It's like a.
I'm a
It's
terrible
like a
person.
big
I'm
old white
sorry.
D20 that has like a nice curvy like Mary, and then it has like this cool like Christmas design. Oh, this is cool, Lydia. Man,
It's
you're
pretty
a
rad.
stud.
I know. I'm a bad friend. I'm sorry. Yeah. This is table talks with table scraps. We talk about who knows what. Sometimes we talk about sandwiches. Sometimes we talk about books. Most of the time, we try to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. Because
I'm
we
currently
have.
wearing ski boots.
Yes, he is breaking them in while we are sitting here talking.
That's right. Just because we're talking about random things that we do.
Yeah. We have a main campaign that we play on Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out. That's theoretically what we'll probably be talking about most of the time.
Most likely.
Sometimes we also play Dungeons and Dragons on here. Who knows? If we have more than like 2-3 people, we'll play some D&D maybe, or some other RPG. It's great. Yeah, this is uber casual. This is the behind the scenes. So I'm gonna start off with the usual question that I start off with on Table Scraps. DJ, by the way, DJ is our DM for the main campaign. So get ready. If you don't want spoilers or behind the scene things, I will force them out of him. So you should leave. DJ, what did you think about last episode?
It went well. It was great. I'm excited. I need to prep what the freaking boat can do, so you guys know how to do
is
that.
pretty important. For those of you who have not seen the last episode, basically the group were at the like rebel camp and everything, and we cleared up a couple of loose ends. Kind of got the group together because the camp is going to be under siege in the coming like 5 minutes. And so we had to prepare for that, talk some things out, have some conversations, get them clear the air, all sorts of fun party stuff. But yeah, so now we've got to go fight a dragon, which is going to be great.
You guys,
we are all
by
jacked.
the way, yeah. First of all, they're all jacked. Second of all, they leveled up to level 8.
Yes.
Which I forgot to mention in the last episode. So there you go. Now you know they're all technically
level 8. About it. I think we messaged it in the chat during the episode before last. I think that we have informed them. I feel like we have. I can't remember where. Maybe it was on Table Scraps. I don't know.
I'm gonna mention it at the start of the next episode. I'll be like, hey, by the way, last episode they leveled up to level 8, just so y'all are aware.
Good call.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think it went pretty well. I'm pretty excited because I get to play with crystal dragons now, which is awesome.
Yep. That's some.
Like freaking.
That's some.
I really wanted to like
new,
throw a
old
great worm at you
stuff.
guys, but I figured that was probably not quite.
I'm in.
Quite.
Do it.
We probably weren't quite there yet, you know.
Also, as always, feel free to ask questions in the chat, and we will answer them as quickly as possible. As answer to the question of thoughts on the Soul Knife Rogue. Soul Knife Rogue is in Tasha's, right?
I believe so.
It means on average
And
it's pretty
interesting.
good. It is certainly something. Good, bad, I'm not sure of.
Master Companion Rogue.
And Lydia's not here to tell me to get my nose out of the book, so we can talk about this forever.
Most assassins strike with physical weapons. Many burglars and spies use thieves' tools to infiltrate secure locations. In contrast, a soul knight strikes and infiltrates with the mind, cutting through barriers both physical and psychic. These rogues discover psychic powers within themselves and challenge to do their roguish work.
So as answer, I like it, and it seems pretty good. So the basic thing is you have better daggers, which is already great. Like making a dagger that does a d6 of damage and leaves no evidence behind is a very valuable. It's a very valuable thing for a rogue. It also helps you not miss things, which is also great. Let's see, you can throw. You also get like a second attack with a bonus action. Like you can dual wield like mind daggers, which is pretty great. You also gain telepathy, like minor telepathy, and that's really good.
You get like homing daggers where you like throw a blade and it, like tracks them down. It's kind of cool.
Invisibility, just natural invisibility is good. And and you get a stun at level 17. So yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. Those are all things that we like. That having better daggers that leave no trace and a stun, honestly, you could have just left it there and I would be fine. You add invisibility and just some extra added benefits, and yeah, I think it's a pretty
really
dang
interesting.
rogue class.
I would be very interested in like multi-classing this with Monk.
Yo, raid off the bat. What's up, Parker Bliss?
Oh.
Hello, everybody.
Hi guys. How you doing? Happy to have you guys.
This is Table Scraps. Sometimes we talk about D&D, other times we don't. You welcome to the weird portion of the paper dungeon, where I just have a sandwich. This is the uber casual.
This isn't our main show. If you guys like D&D and storytelling and all that, we actually usually stream on Mondays. This is kind of our side show to talk about lots of that type of stuff. Yep. So, hi.
I know I had a blast last Monday. I have been waiting for like literally months. So Track, as you know, literally had no idea about so much of the like Renaya Graz'zt thing. He somehow managed to avoid every possible instance where like that was explained to the party. And it wasn't even intentional. It was just funny to me. For those of you who don't know, our wonderful Lydia Corin, or Lydia Korn, as we fondly refer to her as, dates Graz'zt, the Demon Prince of dates. All right, it's we'll call it a date. The Demon Prince of Pleasure.
In modern dating terms, they would be talking at the moment.
Yes. And obviously we have two paladins in the party, and one of them is a real prude. And
he is.
So he's not super fond about it. But I play the other paladin. He didn't even know. Like he knew that like Graz'zt like talked to her sometimes, but like not the full extent of it. He still doesn't know super bad that Cather is. Yeah, it's very accurate. I am an absolute prude.
That was funny, Maz. Good job. Way to go.
Yeah, thanks for throwing me under the... Look, we get raided and you betray me like this that quickly.
That's
wow.
So funny.
Wow.
One of them is a prude and the other one is played by Drew. That's so funny.
Remember to tip your waitresses.
That's right.
But yeah, I have been waiting to have a conversation with Graz'zt for like months.
I loved our conversation. I thought that was great.
It was so good.
I very much appreciate it because it was fun because the way that you went about it made it so that I was, because I either had to go two ways about it. I either had to be like, okay, depending on how aggressive you were, if you were super aggressive, then Graz'zt was going to get defensive, obviously. But since you weren't super aggressive, Graz'zt could just kind of be playful about it because he's like, okay, whatever, this guy's threatening me. Like, I'm not worried about him at all. And so it created a really cool dynamic where he never really felt like he had to like threaten you back or, you know, like put you in your place or anything like that. And then with Cather, he wanted to kill like on the spot.
So the thing about it, right, is the whole like threat thing. I love it because for both Graz'zt and like Renaya, I was just like, yo, just so you know, I'm gonna threaten. Like, that's what we do here. It's a culture thing. I'm an orc. That's how we talk. And now don't, like, take it lightly. Like, I mean what I'm saying. But, like, you know, this is pretty standard. And so, like, in the conversation with Graz'zt, I was really trying to strike a balance of, like, I mean this. I'm going to do this. But I don't have to as long as you don't force me to. So until that happens, I'm totally chill with you.
And the thing that like Graz'zt appreciated about it is he has a really kind of an interesting kind of dynamic that he's trying to walk the line on, where he's like, I don't really care about you guys or what you think, but you guys are the best friends of the girl that I'm really interested in. So I want you guys to like me, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to make you guys like me. So that's the thing. With Chirac, he was like, okay, cool. Like, this guy's funny. He's good. It's great. All right, we get along. And then with Cather, it's like, okay, this guy knows really nothing about me. It's like, you really know nothing about me, and you're just assuming that I'm the worst. Granted, he is the worst.
Yeah.
But
he's like, just because it's right doesn't mean
when
it's
you
okay.
assume, you know? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's very interesting.
And I love it because, so, I know, like, behind the scenes things, I've talked to both Drew and Lydia about like what's kind of your opinion of the conversation and thing of like what the other thinks of like Graz'zt and things like that. And I know that it's like it's not like we can actively get rid of Graz'zt. Like, theoretically we could fight Graz'zt, but like Lydia doesn't seem to want that. Like, Lydia likes Graz'zt because I'm gonna let the chat know something. If you ever end up for some reason playing a game with Lydia, give her literally any demon and she'll be happy. Like, she can just like show up. Like, it doesn't even have to be like, it doesn't even have to interact, but just like a general. It's better if they're a hot demon. Yeah. But like, any demon works.
Like, you know, like Demogorgon is, you know, nobody really likes Demogorgon.
I mean, yeah, but like Lydia would still be okay with it.
She'd think he's cute. He'd be like, that's kind of interesting that he has
like
two heads.
Pug.
All right, that's okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, weird tentacle arm. I mean, it's fine.
All right, I'm not gonna judge.
So, but and Drew, I know that like you're not gonna change Drew's mind on that Graz'zt is a bad person because Graz'zt is a bad person.
Oh, dude, you don't even know the plans that I have to just wreck Drew's world.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
I love it.
But the weird balance that I want to kind of hit is like, you don't have to like him, but you also don't have to get rid of him. Honestly, just ignore him. Well, like, don't ignore him. Don't interact with him. Like, he's there. Acknowledge that he's there, but you two never have to talk ever. Yeah, and it'll be fine. And try to hit that, like, all right, Lydia can have Graz'zt, Drew can avoid Graz'zt, and we'll be great. I just knocked over my truffles.
My favorite thing about it is that it's just a mirror. Like, Lydia and Drew's characters are just mirrors of each other. Yeah. Where it's like, you know, one is demon, the other is gods. Neither of them like the other person's patrons. because each patron wants them to kill the other person, you
Yep.
know, and they're just like, and we're trying to be friends through all of this. It's like their friendship was holding on by like a little thread that they like keep tying little knots in to keep it together.
Yeah, it's like a frayed shoelace, and you're like, it's
Yeah.
fine. I don't need an aglet. I can just thread it through. It'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then Track's just here. He's like, look, man, I
Track
think you're
is the
both
aglet.
idiots. I think you're both idiots. Like the gods and demons suck either way. They're things to
Yeah.
be used, not things to be admired.
Yeah,
Like,
I like to think Tarak is just the aglet, where like if we did like use him, he would be such a helpful tool to
that'd
us.
be great.
But we lost him a long time ago.
Yep. I'm just rolling around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Track's honestly still kind of unhappy. I mean, Track is deeply unhappy
Always
at
unhappy.
all points in time. He is our sad orc boy, and he may never be anything but.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's even a little bit more upset, and he's trying to like find a way to be okay with it, because like he doesn't like prophecies. He's not a big prophecy guy, and now all of a sudden someone tells him that he's part of this prophecy, and he's like, all right, it's fine if you say that I'm a part of this prophecy, but I'm gonna do it not because I'm a part of the prophecy, but because you're asking me to. Your prophecy's a load of crap, and I'm probably gonna die anyway. And even if we don't, it's not because there was a prophecy saying we'd succeed. It's because we succeeded. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna give you a little hint, and you can just let the think tank just roll on this for the next 6 months, and then you can text me at 2 a.m. again, and just blow up my campaign again.
It'll be great.
But something you said a while ago really stuck with me and has shifted some of the dynamics.
I've said a lot of things to you.
I know. That's why I'm saying this now, and then you can just think on it for months until you finally sift through all the things you've said to me and analyze each individual one, and then figure out which one I'm talking about.
Man. There's a lot of things. I like to think that pretty much everything I say is incredibly impactful.
I mean, yes.
I clearly,
but usually it's not
day.
like.
Oh man.
Usually it's not changing the whole course.
It's probably not about the prophecy wars. I would laugh if you were, like, I wasn't looking at your face, but if I would, it's probably not about the like prophecy wars, and you're just.
Dang it, Aaron! He did it again.
I don't know.
For those of you who don't know at home, Aaron has a habit of texting me and just spoiling the things that I have been planning for months.
Yeah. So the thing that's on my mind right now, and this has nothing to do with anything that we've talked about. Yeah. I know some things that other people don't know, but that's completely besides the point. The hammer is a part of the rod. What the crap? First of all, that's not how it's supposed to work. Second of all, what? Like, excuse me?
That I will not say anything about.
Like, so, but I'm just confused, like, if we're eventually supposed to, like, I'm not even supposed, like, if we eventually have a goal to, like, collect the rod, like, and put it all together, do we have to, like, take apart the hammer? Is it, like, do we just stick the hammer on the end? Do we get them all together and the thing, like, shoots out of the hammer? Like, I don't know how this works. That's what confuses more than anything else, more than, like, why it's there. I just don't understand how it would work. Like, yeah, is it fine if we're all just next to each other holding a part of the rod?
If you're all just holding hands, each one of you has, like, one piece of the rod in your teeth, and you all hold hands. Guardians of the Galaxy style.
Yeah, that's what
you can harness the power of the rod. No.
Dang it. Or, like, maybe it's the end piece, and so it's, like, this normal, like rod, this, like, staff, and then there's just a huge hammer at the end. Because it would be real awkward if it was one of the middle pieces. Because, like, we don't have any way to get it out of there. Because it's made of the, like, strongest material on the planet.
The Strucium? Yeah. No, these are all things that I've thought of. And it's okay. It is part of the middle pieces of the rock.
No,
I'll let you know that much.
So
you just get a...
So what we have to do is we're just going to have to chop the head of the hammer off. And I'll just bludgeon people with it like a brick.
Yeah. Well, here, just attach a chain to it, and it can be like a morning star or a freaking ball or whatever it is.
Ridiculously heavy morning star.
Dude, you'll be like the Witch King of Aqaba or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
You know. That thing.
Yeah.
That is. I just want to make
improvised
sure.
weapon feat.
That is Lord of the Rings, correct?
Yeah, it's the one that is like, you can't kill me. No man can kill me.
No,
like, I am no man.
I am no man. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that scene. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, of course you do.
That is where my brain first went. My Lord of the Rings is a little scrappy here and there.
It's okay.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, I'm going to go completely off topic here.
Going off the rails.
So I was actually talking to Drew about this. After Monday night, I think. Drew and I were hanging out, and I somehow ended up on the conversation of Lord of the Rings. One of the most frustrating things in the world to me is that they call is that Gandalf is a wizard.
Yeah.
But he does nothing that a wizard does. Frustrates the living daylights out of me.
The whole soft magic system in Lord of the Rings, I'm not a fan of it.
I'll just be honest. Magic in Lord of the Rings sucks. Hot take. What does it do?
You can like swirl people around.
Yeah, you can give people light force pushes, but only if they're a wizard. So other wizards you can force push, and you can like make a little dome of light that makes people a little spooked. Also, Maz, I would like to say the books, yes, but the movies really good.
Lord of the Rings. Oh, Maz, you spitting some fighting words.
Yeah. No, I said a hot take. That was a hot take. Mine is wow. Because I love the Lord of the Rings movies. Chef's kiss.
Fantastic.
Now,
100%.
The magic still sucks, but that's just because they're like constrained by like what it can do.
Yeah.
Now I have another book series that I love. They were like, they're the first fantasy books I ever like read, and like are kind of one of the main things that got me into the fantasy genre when I was like in elementary school, which was the Shannara series by Terry Brooks.
Oh, nice.
I still have them on the shelf back
I
here.
thought you were going to say the Edge Chronicles, and I almost got really excited.
Now, the thing about it, and it frustrates me even in these books. I love these books. There's a character named Alanon. The first Shannara book, Sword of Shannara, is basically a fan fiction Lord of the Rings. And I love the book still, but that's what it is. It is literally a tall, dark, mysterious wizard goes into a small town and of Vale men. They live in the Shady Vale, and they are shorter than the average person.
They live in the Shady Vale?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And they are shorter than average people. He finds them. He's like, yeah, you are destined to save the world. I need you to go and get this gosh dang who's a what's it over here. First off, meet up in this city and you'll get some friends. The friends consist of a dwarf, some elves, a dude who's literally just Aragorn, like a ranger. It's literally Lord of the Rings. So the thing is, Alanon is a druid.
Okay.
But his magic stems from him reading ancient texts and studying the arcane.
No.
So he's a wizard.
He's a nature wizard.
But there's nothing nature about it. He shoots fire out of his hands.
He's an evocation wizard.
Exactly. So, like,
Interesting.
Gandalf is like a cleric, maybe a druid somewhere in there, but is called a wizard. And Alanon is just clearly a wizard that is called a druid. The only thing that makes him not like a stereotypical wizard is that he's absolutely jacked. Like, at one point in time, he's fighting basically this book's version of the Balrog over a fiery pit.
Okay.
Because that's the thing that happens. And the man straight up puts it in a headlock and tries to break its neck. Like, no magic involved. He's just like, tries to, like, rip it in half. Because Alanon rocks, even though he's, like, a copy-pasted version of Gandalf. But if Gandalf was 7 feet tall and shredded.
Nice.
The superior Gandalf, in my opinion.
There's another comparison that I saw the other day that was talking about how Harry Potter is just a watered down version of Star Wars, where you have the main character who's this lost kid who gets dropped off by a bearded man at his uncle's place, and then gets picked back up like 10 years later by the same guy, but he ended up having another guy actually teach him how to do magic, who's just an old guy who's always high. And then there's the female sidekick that there's always this romantic tension with, but never actually comes to fruition because they fall in love with the scruffy sidekick. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean,
my mind was blown.
All books. I mean, you've heard that, like, all stories follow the same general...
Oh, yeah.
Like, select amount of plot. I think there's, like, 7 different types of plot
There's,
lines.
like, 7 tropes or something like that, yeah.
So it's like, I can understand it. Like, that is so general that it's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, at the core of it, they're very different.
Oh, yeah.
And it's literally, it's the strangest thing, because it's literally the first book. Sword of Shannara is like a copy-paste Lord of the Rings, all 3 of the trilogy.
Nice.
The wizard gives him a magic item that, when it is used, alerts the Dark Lord Brona to his position, and these strange dark shadow creatures track him down through the sky on what look like dark dragons. And it's like, okay,
sounds really familiar.
I'm pretty sure I've seen this before. Still recommend it.
Speaking of dragons, if you guys can't get into Lord of the Rings, I would encourage you to try Aragorn. Now watch the Aragorn movie, although I didn't think it was too bad, actually.
No. It was fine.
I thought it was okay. But the book series is phenomenal. Like, absolutely amazing. One of my favorite fantasy series. So if you can't get into Lord of the Rings, that's another one that has, like, a similar vibe to it, but is very, very different story-wise.
Aragorn's brother is one of my
The best character.
I love him, dude. He's so good.
Just coming around swinging his hammers, getting revenge, just trying to find his girl.
2 normal hammers.
Yeah.
Not even, like, weapons, like warhammer. No, he's like, yes, I opened the drawer in the kitchen that we just put all the extra stuff that we found. 2 hammers.
There were a couple of hammers. And I used that to murder hundreds of people and lead the rebellion, and became, like, he's the epitome of the guy who's, like, he shouldn't have been anything, and then he just made whatever he wanted for himself.
Exactly.
And like, sheerly for the drive to get his girl back.
100%. And like, his brother, like, there was no, like, destiny.
No.
Like, he was just some dude.
No, it's like his brother is the one that has the destiny, and I'm just some guy who's gonna go get my girl and then call her today.
I loved it. I loved it.
And
just just the image of just in battle to swing around two normal hammers. So good.
Yeah. I think, if I remember correctly, I think Netflix might have bought the rights to them to do like maybe
that's
a TV
such a
series?
Dangerous territory.
I know. I'm really curious to know if it's going to work out.
They're going to nail it so hard, they're going to slam it out of the park, or it'll make me cry.
It's Skyrim time. I need to go to the bathroom. But yeah.
MTV made one of the Shannara books into a series. It was the worst thing I've ever watched. It threw me into a depression that I may still be in. It was so sad. I was so upset. Have I seen Arcane? No, but let me tell you, Drew has. And Drew is jazzed about everything I've seen about Arcane is incredible. People just only good things. I'm not terribly interested in it because I'm not a League guy. I'm sure that it's good to watch even if you don't know League, but like there's just other shows that I'm kind of watching out there. Plus I'm just relatively just strained for time at the moment. working on a project for DJing the show and stuff, things like that. Should check this thing. By the way, as Lydia just posted in the chat, we have a Discord. You should be a part of it. It's really rad. Oh, well. Just a second. Hold on. I've got to check this myself. Wait, what did you post it in memes? In art? Yes, you did. That is actually very quality. Thank you, Lydia, for your wonderful content. Yeah. Oh, man, if you ever have a chance to watch the MTV, I think it's I don't know what it was called. The Elf Songs of Shannara, maybe? I'm not sure. Maybe it was just called Shannara. Don't ruin it, because then you're never going to read the books, and that's a sad day, because the books are very good, even for being the first one being a pretty much 1-to-1 copy of Lord of the Rings. Really, really good. It has, he'll know, Lydia, he'll know. There's a character in the Shannara series called Menion Leah. Menion is his first name, Leah is his last name. He is literally my ideal version. Like, when I think of a fighter or ranger, like, that is my quintessential fighter, where he is a kind of audacious noble, where he's like, yes, I am the Prince of Leah, I am really cool and awesome, but and like shirks his duties all the time, is not super like reliable, and he's very adventurous and wants to go out there and have adventures, but doesn't really want to like be king in a lot of ways. He is, if anything else, the number one reason to read the book, because his character growth is phenomenal. He's just absolutely rad. Even when he loses, he's cool. And yeah, and so Menion Leah, if you want to see a perfect, in my mind, fighter or ranger, Menion Leah is who it is. Like, gracious in defeat, but just an absolute baller, really good at what he does. Incredible character.
What am I looking at when we get back?
Lydia posted a thing in the memes in Discord that I think is very important for you to see.
Memes.
Yep.
Memes.
Yep.
Stay at 144. Wait for it. It's loading. It's loading. Is this for Naya with her freaking closet?
Maybe.
Don't talk to me or my son ever again. Lydia, your closet's lame.
I love it. I'm not gonna lie. I think Quasit is the best familiar available on the extended familiar list.
Dude, I mean, as like a stat block, it's freaking rad.
It's
like,
so good.
It's invisible. It can just steal things. Let's look at it. Actually, now I'm just kind of curious. That's an.
It's just incredible.
It's a good familiar. I just hate it.
Why? It can look like something cute.
You have fun playing him, and you know it. It is kind of fun to have an aggressive sidekick at the moment, because like Ginger is always like, she's kind of sassy, but she's always nice, and Poyo is just funny and cute. So it's nice to have someone who's like kind of mean. Let's see, Quasit. Is it in here? Is it?
It would be under Demon or Devil. I can never remember which one is which.
This one's technically a demon, but it doesn't have it under demons.
Maybe it's just under Closet.
But there's no Q either. Let's see. Maybe it's not in one. Maybe it's in the.
Oh no, it's in the player's handbook. Not the player's handbook. It's in the monster manual.
That makes a difference.
Because the original Warlock is in the player's handbook. So if it was in something that had been released when the player's handbook is, then it needs to be in the monster manual.
Now I'll be under demons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna look through some of its features.
It was a time. I sincerely apologize to anyone who has seen the MTV Shannara. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix. The emotions within me were were like the guy in Harry Potter, the my boy guy.
My boy!
Yeah,
When
that was me.
freaking what's his bucket dies?
Yeah, that was me. I'm like, how could they kill it like that?
What are you talking about, Kelly?
The Shannara series on Netflix.
Oh, I see.
MTV. MTV.
I see. That's kind of how I felt about the like Percy Jackson series. Like the books are really good.
No, God, no. This was better than the Percy Jackson series. That is a low bar. This was watchable. The Percy Jackson movies were a sin.
Terrible.
The books fine, better once he gets older. The movies terrible from start to finish. Clearly, they had no idea what they were doing. And they had never seen the books.
Yeah, it was really rather unfortunate. It's kind of like someone told them like the general idea of the first book. And they're like, okay.
They literally looked at the cover.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, okay, all right. I think.
Yeah, something about camp and something with Poseidon. Okay, cool.
Yep, they looked at the cover, then they turned it to the back, and they read the like brief little summary thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
I have not read nor seen most popular series. That's because you're not as cool with us, Lydia.
Yeah. I don't. Oh, man, I'm realizing more and more that like people didn't read as many fantasy series as I did when I was a kid.
Nope. No, people read a lot of like dystopian things. It was like the Hunger Games and Divergent and all that when we were in school.
But David,
Nobody.
We can't be together. You're a pink unicorn and I'm a flaming cactus. We're destined to be apart. Sorry, it's just the plot line. It's the plot line of every single one.
That makes me think of ghost stories every single time, where it's like, we can't be. It never will work out between us. Not because you're a rabbit, but because you're black.
Oh no! For the context, there is a dubbed version of the anime Ghost Stories where the people who did it were basically like, look, you can't change the way that they defeat the monsters, but you can say whatever you want. So it got real questionable and real not PG real fast. So if you're looking for a very entertaining, I just want to be clear, we are on Twitch. There are terms of service.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're looking for something that is entertaining but definitely not PC, it is a fantastic watch. Specifically the dubbed version, because the subbed version is bad, which is why they gave them free reign. So that is not DJ saying that he is racist. Is just a funny moment for the show. It's a joke from a show. Thank you. This has been Aaron acting as human resource.
It's like when Gabriel Iglesias. It's like when Gabriel Iglesias quoted
I have a thing here,
joke.
DJ.
Huh?
You don't have to talk about it more.
Well, I was talking about what you were just. I was talking about what you're doing at the moment, but never mind.
Yeah, let's just get on a different subject. I'm eating a sandwich right now. I love mayo. Originally the sandwich part was a joke. I'm not joking. I am eating a sandwich right now, but I do love mayo. What are your thoughts and opinions on mayo? Because I know that there's a very.
I like mayo.
You like? Oh, thank God. Because normally when I say people like mayo, I get stabbed.
Oh.
Look at
Lydia. I like mayo, mustard.
I will take mayo over most toppings. Yeah, that's right, Lydia. If you had a voice, you could stop us. But you don't.
Did Grant really want us to talk about mayo?
Well, yeah, because I had a conversation with Grant in the middle, at like 4 a.m. In a. Oh, geez, what part? I think it was like I think we were just at a gas station. And I had a conversation that explained why mayo is the alpha condiment. It is the the absolute winner among all condiments, and I explained it, and he did not agree with me at first, but he's also Grant, so I won him over very quickly.
It's not hard to do.
Mayo is it's a perfect condiment.
I agree.
And the best part is Grant's not even here to see it.
Lydia's upset.
Good, you should be.
I can't believe you made this happen so naturally.
Yeah, that's me. We should probably talk more about Dungeons and Dragons because that's a thing. Do you have
I would agree.
What are your plans? What
What are
are
my
your
plans?
Of
I'm gonna kill you all with a dragon.
I mean, doubtful. I am
No.
so excited because I just want. There's some things that I have planned for Tarak in terms of like, kind of like how this hammer is going to how he's going to act with this hammer.
You're gonna hit him with the blunt end.
No. There's more to it than that. I have things. Also, pretty much all ends of a hammer are blunt.
That was the point. It was a joke.
And how it's like, it almost, I want it to be almost frustrating that it does feel good for him to like use this, like it feels like meant for him.
Yeah.
And so that's some of my plans. This is just
Can we talk about how Tarak is now going to be the oldest orc of all time?
Yeah, he is. Orcs. I think the age is like 60 is the oldest an orc feasibly could be, but most die by the age of like 30. Track is technically, if we go by world time, Track is technically 14. I think.
Yeah.
Because he was 13 when the campaign started, and we've had a lot of time skips. But in terms of actual, I think he's still approaching 14, but in terms of actual days lived, I don't think he's there yet. But his hammer now has a boon that means that for every 10 years that pass, he only ages for 1. So in 60 years, which is the oldest that an orc feasibly could live, he would be 20. Which is only a third of the way through like the actual
you could now
natural life.
Theoretically live up to be like 600 years old.
Yeah. Something like that. So that's going to be a time. Also, I just want to confirm, this hammer continues to evolve as time moves on, right? Like, this is kind of like a vestige kind of situation? I think that was mentioned at some point in time.
It will get, like, slightly stronger. I mean, you already have some, like, freaking butts and features.
The 10 people get strength 20 plus an extra 50 hit points. It's pretty good. It basically turns everyone into Cather.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
Except for Cather. Cather's just like, well, 50 extra hit points, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Dwarves live about 350 years. Yeah, so our boy he's not even that old. But sorry, I was thinking about Delandric and how old he could be.
Yeah.
He's not gonna die very quickly.
Now we got 2 questions in the chat. One from our wonderful Lydia Corin, the other one from Maz. I'm not going to call him the wonderful Maz because that's just not how I roll. You aren't my friend.
Catholic Special Edition.
What classes are we going to play for the holiday one-shot? DM'd by our wonderful Drew. That's happening in like 2 weeks. Any ideas? Any thoughts?
I'm kind of thinking like monk.
Monk?
Maybe. Yeah.
Interesting. I was so bummed because I had a really good plan if we were going to be like level 10, but we're only level 5.
I think we're level 5. Yeah.
And so now I have to decide something else. So originally I wanted to be like multi-classed Battlemaster Fighter and College of Eloquence Bard.
Nice.
Because College of Eloquence Bard is crazy good.
Yeah.
It's wildly good. And so I was going to do that, but then I can't really do that if we're only level 5. Because then
it makes it much more difficult.
I wouldn't get the benefits of like either class. So I don't know anymore. I might just go 5 levels into Eloquence. I might just play something completely else. I don't know.
Last time you played a bard, you killed everyone.
Yeah. I don't understand the problem here. Is there a...
Oof.
I think very much. I didn't kill everyone. I killed, like, several families, but I didn't kill their kids. I killed your wife.
Yep.
Didn't kill your daughter, though. That was someone else. You know, something like that. Jeez. I could play, like a... I don't want to play a sorcerer. I could play, like, an artificer. Something like that.
Artificer
Maybe,
for Christmas.
I'll have to look more, because like I don't. My original plan was blown out of the water, and I haven't really put a whole lot of thought into anything else. What do we think that Lydia should be? What do we think that she should play?
I want to see her play like a barbarian.
I don't.
No.
Bold claim. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of want to just throw into the deep end. I want her to play something like really confusing.
Like wizard.
No. Wizard's actually pretty basic. As long as you like figure out how the spells, like how many spells you get. That's on. There's a lot of like small things that it's like you can change this, but you can't change that. But in terms of like
multi-class,
what it does, pretty basic.
I say multi-class between paladin and warlock, but it's the original warlock that has those terrible spell slots. This should really make your life complicated.
Oh man, not cleric.
Let's see what else is complicated.
I would actually kind of like to see Lydia play an artificer.
It would be kind of interesting.
That's what I would want, and with no assistance. No assistance. Yeah. I just want her to play an artificer.
I'm pretty sure she'd hate it.
I don't know. I think that artificer is a really good class. I actually think I've talked to her about playing an artificer before. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's a very good class for learning how to do pretty much anything. Like,
yeah.
They have like spell slots, martial stuff, ability usage, stat, like they're pretty much they're literally, whereas bard is the like jack of all trades. I think that like artificer is the real jack of all trades. Like they can pretty much class into anything. Like if you want to be martial, range, gosh dang, like magic caster, you can do pretty much anything on them. I'm not sure which artificer, but I think that would be fun. Other than that, I think Ranger for her would be pretty interesting too.
Yeah, Maz just mentioned the Drake Warden, which I would probably be actually really interested in.
I have not seen anything of. I haven't seen anything from Fizban's.
Is that technically in Fizban's?
I don't know. I have no idea what the Drake Warden is from. I assumed that since it said Drake,
I think you're right.
It would make sense that it was if it was like a dragony thing.
Let's see. Character creation.
I only get interested in a book if it specifically interests like something that I like. And dragons are fine, but like I'm the least likely person to include a dragon as like a major plot point, just because I think it's kind of overdone.
Yeah. There's the way of the
probably pick it up.
Ascendant Dragon for Monk, or there's the Drake Warden.
What is that? What is it for? Is it is it Ranger? According to the wizard, the Wizard of the Coast.
Yeah, this is Ranger. So, Ranger, Drake Warden. You're connected to the natural. It takes the form of a draconic spirit, which can manifest in a physical form as a drake. As your powers grow, your drake grows as well, blossoming from a small four-legged companion to a majestic winged creature large enough and strong enough for you to ride. Along the way, you gain an increasing share of the awe-inspiring power of dragons. Consider the source of the draconic spirit you're bonded with. Drake Warden Origin Table offers some examples. But you get the Draconic Gift, which is you get Thaumaturgy, and you can speak Draconic in whatever language of your choice. And then Drake Companion, you get your Drake Companion at level 3. At level 7, you get Bond of Fang and Scale. which means that your Drake grows to medium size, and then you can start riding your Drake. It doesn't have a flying speed while you're riding it, though. It then has some fancy attacks. It has some resistance, Dragon's or Drake's Breath, which basically is just the equivalent of Dragon's Breath spell.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the Perfect Bond, which allows you to like ride and fly and all that type of stuff.
So I would like to state what I'm hearing is this is the ultimate multi-class for Cavalier. I love Cavalier.
Yes.
It is my favorite.
100%.
I think it's my
Cavalier's
favorite
great.
fighter subclass. And the main problem with it is that you have to
I would
depend
agree.
on getting a mount somewhere. And that's just not any fun. But if
Yeah.
you go, gosh, oh my goodness. Oh man. That sounds sick.
No, 100%. It would be combining that with Cavalier would be pretty rad. It would be interesting though because you have to take 15 levels in Ranger to get to the point where you can ride it while flying. But if you took like 5 levels of Cavalier
I mean,
and
I don't even really care about the
and 15
flying
levels
part.
of Drake,
And
that
5
could be
levels.
interesting.
So I was actually going to talk about this. If we're a 5th level group, martial characters are probably the strongest 5th level characters in the game. Because that's when they get their second level attack. So they get a very brief power spike that kind of shoots them up over other classes. I think I do know. I think I know what I'll play. I think I might play a fighter, and I think I'm gonna play the rune fighter, the rune one. I can never remember the name of it.
the Rune Knight.
Rune Knight, yeah, that's the one. Because I think it's a cool class, and I think it's neat, and I think you can do stuff with it that is pretty dang good. But then again, I already play a lot of martial characters, which is a pain. I don't know. Never mind. I take it back. I might not.
I want you to play another Knowledge Cleric and just wreck the game again.
Knowledge Cleric is so disappointing, though. It's such a disappointing.
Not when you're
subclass.
freaking you.
No. The only reason that the Knowledge Cleric was good was because clerics are good.
Hello,
I can hear you.
Aaron.
Can you not hear me?
Hello,
Oh no.
Aaron. Hello.
Can you hear me? Oh, we lost him. Wow, that was sad. That was like watching a movie. Oh shoot, what is it? And it's like only like an after image of the person. Is there? They're like, Dad? He's like, son, can you hear me? He's like, Dad, but it's just repeating the last like 5 seconds of their life. Well, since it's just me anymore, I guess I'll do some minor adjustments. Just then we're just gonna move this one. Just gonna move this one down. And then welcome to editing behind the scenes with Aaron Klebrad. It's just me now. It's just me. Welcome to Aaron Talks About whatever he wants. It's not even table scraps anymore. We're abandoning everything. Feel free to mark this down in your bingo sheet. Well, since it's just me, let me scroll through my list of possible screens that I could maybe use. Hold on. Nope, that's terrible. This is some real behind-the-scenes action for everyone. I hope that you're very excited for it. Oh, everything's falling apart. Move that there. Display capture. Plus. 100%. We're just gonna... There's me. Don't worry, I'm still here. Just in a very small version. I had a screen for this all prepared, and now I can't find it. Because I was like, this will happen again. I am so sure of it. Let's see. Interesting. Nope. Offline. Nope. Base screen capture. Let's add. Source. Let's bring. Oh, that's already there. So let's just expand this puppy. Hey, I'm gonna show you guys what I've been working on in the past, like a little bit. So, oh, let me move this. Bam, welcome. This is what Aaron has been working on the past several days, and by that I mean I have not been putting enough work into it, but I'm doing it anyway. So DJ needed a basically a idiot's guide to the Scarlet Wastes. And so I was like, heck yeah, I can do that. So this is kind of the first couple of pages. I have the rest of it. Well, not the rest of it. I have not finished it in the slightest. Here, so this is kind of what it'll be like side by side page wise. And so it'll have the name of the thing. This is a plant in general that hasn't really been talked about a whole bunch, but it will be very important. And this is a little bit behind the scenes. This involves some stuff. And I want it to have the name of it, the name in Orcish, which is written in the Dwarvish script. So I had to, Lydia had to sit there and watch. Lydia had to sit there and watch as I complained for like 2 hours, custom making the Dwarvish script into a font that I could use. It was exhausting. If you ever make your own font and you know a super good way to do it, please tell me, because I don't know how. Because it was very tiring to do. But yeah, and then I wanted to have, you know, the fun little quotes that all the D&D books have, where it's like, oh yes, I shall now explain to you this random thing about a certain part of my life. But it relates to like a class or something along those lines. I want those, and so the most fun part for me is that I get to come up with fun names of like orcs and dwarves. In this one, it is Gamthor Smooth Knuckle. So that's gonna be a joy for me. But yeah, and then I want it to have a description of what exactly it does when it is interacted with. And also a big thing that I want is that everything in hello and welcome to Aaron Streams Alone because DJ's internet crashed. I want everything in there to have a functional use. So like if you survive it, you can use it for something. So in this case, it's basically just a very explosive aloe vera plant. And then each one of the petals, seen here, those kind of like scale-shaped petals, are like thick and filled with like a liquid, kind of a gel that, when it is used, grants resistance to the extreme heat condition for 24 hours. And then also the core of it, which you can see there in the middle of that plant, can be used either as a material component for like fire damage evocation spells like Fireball and anything else like that, Burning Hands, or you can brew it into a potion of fire resistance. Kind of a little combination of like what the petals can do and like what the actual magic stuff like that it contributes to. And I want to do that for a whole bunch of plants. And then I want to include a scale reference for how big it is. Now the real problem is there are plants in the desert that I can't use. Like, I'm just going to use the exact same silhouette for all of them. Because silhouettes are surprisingly tiring to draw. Like, that is not a thing that I expected. I was like, it's just, I'll outline it and then bam, done. No. No, it's exhausting. And so I'm just gonna use the same one, except there are some plants that are so big that I can't use a person for reference. Like I've talked about the rock eaters before. The length that the like tendril can stretch to like snatch things out of the sky is like to the almost to the peak of the mountains, which is a very, very long distance, obviously. And yeah, I can't. You can't see a person on that scale. So I'm gonna have to make a like reference of like a dragon or something along those lines instead of a person, which is a bit of a bummer, but it's fine. I need the practice. But I guess since I don't really have, I don't really have anything that I super need to talk about, we can just do we can just start up an art stream and I can stroll through whatever the crap I need to do. I'm down. If y'all are. I've got like an hour left to stall for. So, and I need to get this work done anyway. Oh man. This is so embarrassing. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. Let's go. Let's just make a new. Now the question is, what do you want me to do? Several options are available here. Okay, so I'm gonna hit you up. I could draw a plant or an animal. Let's start there. Plant or animal. I'm getting on the art glove. Animal. All right. In terms of animals, there are several. Oh, geez. So the thing is, I can't draw either, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I have several animals that I have already thought up. I could also draw something, or well, okay, let's be clear here. I can start to draw. There is no way that I will be done by the time that we get done here. Do you want me to draw an animal that everyone knows about, where it's like there are copper dragons and blue dragons that move around the area? Also, I'm considering adding an extra type of dragon, but it might already be in Fitzman's, so I'll have to check and see what new type of dragons are in there. Because when I first was talking about the Scarlet Wastes, the only thing that I knew about dragon-wise were copper and blue dragons that would fit in the area. Or I could draw something that we've talked about but no one has seen. So, like, I could try to draw a sand rat. I honestly have not put a whole lot of thought into what I want them to look like, but I can kind of come up with it here. Or I can draw something that I haven't talked about in game, or but I've talked about on Table Scraps for sure, which is like a crystal frog. Because I have a general idea of what those are supposed to look like. Yeah, exactly. So Lydia, it will be just like our normal Zoom calls, because even if we did have the ability to talk, we don't. Crystal frog? Okay, I can give it a shot. Now, so I'm going to reveal to you a super cool little tool that I use called Pure Ref. So basically, it is a little thing. It's free to use, that I use for my reference images. And you literally just drag and drop pictures onto there, and then you can edit how it works. You can make it transparent to mouse, overlay, make sure that it's always on top of the screen, stuff like that. Really useful tool that I use. Because sometimes the like reference image section of like the drawing things, I use Krita, by the way, Krita. It's free. Really good program in my opinion. I think Lydia has also voiced her support of it before. It's like trying to make free Photoshop because Photoshop is like wicked expensive. Yeah. So if you are on a budget slash you aren't on a budget but you don't want to pay for Photoshop, definitely check out Krita. I think it's a very, very good resource to be able to use. So I'm a little bit weird when it comes to art in that I really struggle to draw off of a real life reference image, like a picture that is taken. I draw better when I am seeing what someone else has already drawn. So for my reference images, I normally just I Google search the thing that I want to find and then just put sketch after it, because normally pencil sketches are the best thing for me to be able to use as a reference. I think that's a pretty solid one. Bam. Got ourselves a frog. And a lot of that is I don't know how frogs work. Animals are weird. Animals are incredibly weird in terms of how their body functions and how shapes go. But if I can see the lines, I can differentiate the lines into shapes. A lot of artists will recommend, like if you're going to draw a specific creature, pretty much anything, honestly, try to separate it into shapes that are a lot easier to draw than just like, oh yes, this is a leg. A leg isn't a shape. It's a collection of tubes and rods and circles and things. My problem is that if it is a picture that is taken rather than like a drawing, I have a lot harder of a time separating those shapes and seeing where the outlines and the shadows and things go. So I use sketches from my reference images, which feels like cheating because it's like redrawing what someone else has already drawn. I'm getting to the point where I don't feel as bad about it, but it's still pretty rough. Now the real problem for me is that I'm not sure how to. I wish that I could flip the image, but I don't know how to do that in Pure Ref. I'm sure that it's possible. Because I would rather. Oh my goodness! Can I? Oh, nope. Align. Normalize selection. I'm sure that there's a way to do it. Best believe I don't know how. I'm not very good at this, if you guys haven't realized. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Need to make sure that it's always on top. Enable always on top. So now when I click here, yeah, we're good. Okay. So, I wish that I could explain to you what exactly I do, but I really don't know. And so you also may just hit a long portion of silence where I try to finagle through drawing a frog. And so I would just really like to apologize for that to start off with. Also, there's a high chance that we're going to end the stream today and it will be a completely blank canvas because I've erased everything that I've done. Gonna turn our chair around. We're going to enter artist mode. I'm a big fan of not exactly charcoal, but I like pencil. Especially like if you look at the like previous thing. This is honestly one of my favorite things that I've drawn in a long time. Just because of, I don't know, it has, I've used the term before, it has grit. Grit is such a difficult thing on like digital to accomplish. I don't know how it happened because the other ones I would not say have grit. Like if you look at the, like this, that, and there, this has, the top one has grit. I don't know why the bottom two don't. I think the one on the left is mainly because it was using a different medium than the one on the right, but the one on the right, I have no idea. Also, if you do something like if I will always say this, I am a very strange artist. You can ask Lydia. I do a lot of things in a lot of weird orders that don't make any sense. I will stick by it. If you do something when you draw and you're like, this is kind of weird, but it works for you, go for it. Because, hey, if it works for you, it works for you. And I think that's worth it. Also, it just caught my eye. We are currently streaming on the Nexus scene in Streamlabs. That was for Grant's Minecraft. So just have a good time with that one. So let's see. First off, we want to make sure that we are actually on the pen. How big is our thing here? It's pretty grody. I want maybe a bit larger pixel-wise. I like the chonky charcoal brush. I'm a big fan of it because it looks gross and I love it. Also, funny story. I realize that I haven't actually drawn anything, but I get to now say all the things that Lydia already knows to people who don't, and that's just a good opportunity for me. I didn't know how big of a canvas I was using. Cause I was like, Lydia, how many pixels is your canvas that you work with? She was like, oh, it's like this big, blah, 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 blah. And then I realized I was working on like an eighth of the size of a canvas that she was, like pixel wise, which is why everything that I drew looked so grainy, which might be why this turned out to look the way that it did. I'm not sure. Because, I can't get that texture anymore now that I've moved to a larger canvas. It was really weird. But now I am on a normal sized canvas, so, this brush is way less, if you zoom way in on it. Look how pixely that gosh dang mark is. And I don't know how to get that. Look at that. Tasty. This is so scuffed and I love it. Alright, let's draw a frog, everybody. Welcome to Aaron's art stream. So, I normally start by drawing the part of it that sticks out the most to me. Like, where do I find the core line of the frog? For me, that's probably from the edge of its nose, if it's right here, to the tip of the back of it, right there. And so it does this kind of swoopy head thing. Oh wow, my eraser is tiny. Strange. We're going to attempt to draw in light lines. I'm not good at that, just as I'm not good in most things in art. So I apologize. Also, that line is way too curved, so we're just going to erase it all again. You'll see a lot of that. Ooh, nope. Back is straighter. I think in a lot of parallels. How does this, in relation to where the ground is, how much of an angle does the back have? aggressive. Now we get round things suck. That's the artist tip of the day. Things that are round are terrible. Now we're going to have a nice little nose. Oh, I just got a notification on my phone and I got really confused. But I think that Grant just posted a new episode on the YouTube. Speaking of which, we have a YouTube. Check out our shorts. So, like, right now, I'm noticing a very strange thing about this frog, which is, if this was a profile of a frog, I would expect its like legs to be like whoop whoop, and then you get your like blah 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 frog. It isn't a profile. This is not a direct 90-degree profile of a frog, which is where the whole baseline thing comes in weird, because in reality, it's like a 3/4 from the top frog, which means that its nose actually goes like this way, and this is like kind of the side of its face, but not really the side of its face. This is like its jawline. So now we get into frogs being real funky to work with. So that brings into question, where does this eye line up? What I'm noticing is that there is kind of a direct vertically downwards line from the top of this eye to the bottom of the other eye. Correction, the side of the eye. Maybe not an exact 90. It's probably a bit more like an 85. And then we've got our nice little circle eye that I don't know how to draw because drawing circles sucks. Hey Lydia, tell me, when you have a circle in your art, do you use the circle thing or do you just draw a circle? Because you best believe that I should never be allowed to draw a circle. Now, the really funky part about this, right, is so right now all I'm doing is redrawing from my reference image. We kind of want to get a baseline of like what we're working with. And then from then on, we have to do something to turn it into like a crystal frog. Because right now it's just a regular frog. And then this kind of goes... That jawline is also kind of a 90. So instead of curving around, it actually goes to here. And then the chest of our frog goes out like this. Oh, that line's not supposed to be there. Let me get rid of that. What I see is that there's an invisible line from here that goes along. It's like there. Then we hit about a 90 degree, less than a 90 degree. It's a bit more of an acute angle on the... Drawing is a weird thing. Yeah, of course you do, Lydia. Lydia, see, I'm a freak, but Lydia is just good. Lydia should really be the one doing art streams here, not poor little Aaron. And then we've got our flat thing. We're going to give the illusion of like muscle. Now we reach the second weird thing about this frog. Although we're looking diagonally down from the top, its hands face inwards. So like this toe comes out from there, and then this, like the top of its foot is like here, and then bam, and then Ugh. Feet suck. I don't think anyone will ever disagree with me on that statement. When specifically referring to art. Bam. Frog. Ugh, that toe sucks. Never mind. I take back the bam frog. I've seen worse. Now, welcome to Weird Thing 3. The Revengeance. Strangely enough, I don't mind hands. So, like, a lot of the things that I draw are, like, distance, and then hands just look like kind of chonky, like, weird little bubbly things. I'm actually pretty good with hands. Feet are weird, specifically because they move towards the camera. Like, if you are facing someone's feet, how do you draw? Like, they're just little blobs. Feet suck. Hands I can deal with. Feet I struggle. Feet are a pain in the neck. Specifically if someone knows how to high kick. I got a message from mi madre. That is a very good thing to do. I don't. Because I just don't. If I will, if I am drawing like a hand or something and it's in a weird position, like a lot of the time it's just, like if it's just closed around a thing, I can manage. When they're open or like they're like holding like something like some weird kind of like, oh yes, I'm going to cast like this. I'll look at my hand for that because this pose is weird. Like, oh yes, or like however Voldemort like held his wand, like all like, oh yeah, like crane pose. No, I'll take a picture for that. Well, I won't take a picture, but I will find a picture. Now, there's a couple of things that I don't like about this frog so far. First off, this arm needs to go higher up, which means that this shoulder needs to adjust its angle a little bit. That is one beefy frog. Got real jacked there for a second. Ugh. Now, this frog's leg touches its front leg. And then it makes some real wonky movements here. What I'm pretty sure that this is a quad. No. Hello. How dare you permit use the term hoe in your message, Wander. How could you? How dare you misput and miss the letter? Shameful. I just allowed misogyny in this chat according to Twitch terms of service. Never again though. Never again. Anyway, this frog. Has a real funky leg. And I don't like the angle on it. So we're gonna get rid of it. We hate it. We're just gonna clean that up. So right now, this leg should form like a 95 degree with his arm, but the arm doesn't go down enough for that. Or does it? No, it needs to go down a little bit farther. Just, ooh, not that much. Maybe it starts up higher? Let's clean up our lives. And round it out. Now we're going to. That means that it should go here-ish. Starts off at about a 90. Curves around. That's a bad line. Because then this. Oop. You don't like any of those lines, they're all bad. Ugh, way too steep. Ow, my neck. Also, advice. Get a better position to draw in than what I have. I don't really know what it is to what I would advise, but you will ruin your body if you don't. And so yeah, I'm just on that path. I'm down for being self-destructive right now. For the art. We've got ourselves a weird quad that starts about... Ooh. Mine's pretty aggressive. Right about there is where our weird frog leg kind of begins. Our man never skips calf day. Here's where we start to make just a few adjustments to make things feel better. Yeah, I recommend getting some form of arting desk. Right now, my setup is I have my art pad on, you know, those little like living room eating desks that you're supposed to like. Oh yeah, if you're sitting in a chair, they go over your legs and you can like sit and eat off of them. I have it declined, so I'm hunched over like a 300-pound gremlin. Don't. Hurting yourself is not good. Especially if you do this a lot, invest in something that will prevent you from injuring yourself. I will advise this to anyone and everyone. It sucks to get injured. I'm a hypocrite, but that's also mainly just due to the fact that I'm going to be moving, and so I don't really want to buy a whole bunch of things to like move with me. if I don't have to. So we are approaching the end of the preliminary sketch of this frog. And so my mind is in a lot of different places. One of which is, this isn't just a normal frog, this is a crystal frog. How do we demonstrate that this frog is clear? I don't know. I have no idea how to do that. I don't do art. I'm going to figure it out when I get there. Most of drawing, I think, at least, is having no idea what you're doing. And just trusting that eventually, if you keep messing with it, something will work. My guess is, because I have drawn one thing before that was semi-clear, at least, in the form of Glorpaglop, the Grand Mage of Muck, a gelatinous cube. This kind of has a bit of a straight there. And we also have kind of this line. That line got too far away from me. Bam. Officially, a frog. Ta-da. Step one of an unknown number. I like to both clean and... Oh, no, that's not good. There we go. Kind of clean, but also kind of dirty up the lines. Because I like the, like, extra texture. Like, this... When you draw hard with the brush, it's almost indistinguishable from, like a normal, like, paintbrush or something like that. But when you draw lightly, you really get that, like, oh yeah, this is a pencil, so on and so forth. Oh, shoot. Well, that's strange. I have disappeared. I'll have to figure out how to do that. Hold on. You best believe we're about to, gosh dang, actually do this correctly. Let's see. Media source, window capture. That's source. Ho, 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 ho. Oh man, we are stepping up now. I'm larger now. Bam. Behold. Editing so fast. I'm getting better at my job, guys. Oh, geez. Also, we don't like those lines. Gonna go back over here. Okay. Still set up. We're good to go. That's the one you don't like. But anyway, yeah. So I've had forgotten that I was still using the Zoom call image. But if you only have one person in a Zoom call, it times you out after 40 minutes of inactivity, even if you're like in the screen and moving and stuff. So I just switched over to a whole webcam thing. So now it's like it was meant to be, perfectly designed as always. Yeah, as I was saying, I really like the like gritty kind of mark that this makes compared to like the smaller pencils or like this, because it's very hard to differentiate like that line from like that line. Like, sure, one's thicker, but the actual like quality and tonality of it is incredibly similar. And I like my grit. I like my grits just where they are, making it be real healthy. Now, as you notice, the reference image that we have has shading and stuff. I'm not sure how much of that I'll put in at the start, especially. At least definitely not on this layer. Because it's clear. This is a crystal frog, which means that it has clear skin. That's why it's called a crystal frog. So, gotta figure out how to deal with that. I don't like this extra line up here. This doesn't need to be here. Also, when I'm speaking this direction, does my audio quality get super bad? Like, do I need to move my microphone? Can you still hear me? Because right now the mic is over there, but my art is over there. And so, if I need to move something or turn something up or down, I will gladly do so. Still hear it clearly? I'll turn it up a little bit. So now if I'm talking this way, is it good? Is it loud? Can you still hear me? Nice. It might be, I'm going to talk way back here. It might be pretty loud when I'm facing this direction now because I turned it up a good couple of notches up. Well, how do we want... So one of the big things, right? This frog is clear. I'm going to add another layer. Which means that on a normal frog, we can't see the other side of it. We can with this frog because it's clear. But how much of it can we see? Because since it's clear, like, it won't be like... In real life, things don't have outlines. Oh, we'll figure out the organs. It'll be fine. You know, we gotta have a kind of a sense of imagination with we go with that, because I don't know how frogs work. I don't know how a creature's body functions. But we're gonna give just some light outlining here. Like if it is a frog, and how this frog works. We've got a leg, and then it, but it also, let's see, it curves around, and it goes down, and then it also should have something here that goes out to like there. Then it also has a leg. Ooh, now theoretically, see, this is the thing that bothers me, is that I'm pretty sure that the frog that we are using as a reference, oh my god, there's a real life glass frog. Hold on. To the internet. My biology knowledge is about as bad as my pretty much everything else knowledge. Ah, yes, the frog in the thing of Costa Rica. We're going to go to our images. Yeah, it's like, it's not like full-on clear, but it's like pretty dang clear. This also, weird thing, if you're looking for What is the name of this? If you ever search up like crystal frog or clear frog or anything like that, yeah, they only show it from the bottom, which is frustrating. But then again, if the only clear thing is the bottom of it, then it makes sense. But, this frog is one of my favorite things because it's not only completely clear, but it can also turn the bottom of it reflective. So that way, it focuses the beams of light that it has, like in the desert, like the light, it focuses it into a laser. So it shoots lasers out of its mouth. Because why not? So that's the fun thing for me. And now DJ gets to use it eventually. So this frog has a shoulder on the other side of its body somewhere. Which, if we are judging from where this one would be, its chest is here. Probably means that it has a shoulder-like thing around like there-ish. And then it also comes in like that. Now, I would think, this is another thing I don't like about the reference image that we're using. I would think that you could see its other leg. Like, not like fully, but like, I would think that it would have like another toe. Because if these toes are going in, unless the other toe is like perfectly in line with the direction the camera is facing, you would be able to see part of its toes, wouldn't you? I'm not entirely sure about that. I'm not an expert on how directions work in terms of space relativity. But regardless, it has its leg. Yeah, I would think that it would have like, well, maybe not. Because like if its toe goes to there, and then its other toes are all like bam, bam, bam. Yeah, I can see it. Also, we don't like that. Yeah, that's better. So, I'm pretty sure that ankle's wrong. No, we wouldn't see that. We would just see more of its underfoot. Like there. And bam, toes. Now, how much of this will we see? Hard to know. Especially if it's like clear. My favorite trick in the game for pretty much anything, honestly, I find it is a real miracle brush that is just, it's so useful in so many different directions. Is the airbrush tool. Like this thing here. Straight up. Oh, this layer is not visible. Oh, no, it is that one. Bam. This tool right here. It is a gift from the art gods. I've used it in every possible situation imaginable. Because I'm sure that there's a way to do this better. But I use it to blend things. I use it for shadowing. Like, there will be times where I'll be really wanting, like, some kind of shadow somewhere. And I'll be like, oh, shade. And I just don't like it. I'm like, I want it a little darker, but I don't want the lines connected. Simple solution. Throw a little bit of airbrush in there. Bam. Suddenly, it's like there's more lines, but the ones that are there are not connected. Miracle. Love the airbrush tool. I probably use it too much. I definitely use it too much. I'll tell you that much right there. First time I used it was for the Glorpiglob Grand Mage of Muck. I was like, this is great. I love every part of it. It's awesome. So we'll probably use it at some point in time. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just going to... I need to... Main things I need to do right now is I need to add in the last, important details available. Look at that chonky lines. Love myself some chonky lines. We're actually going to switch to a little bit less chonky for some detail. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. So art is a really weird thing, where randomly, tiny bits that, honestly you probably wouldn't even notice, that just happen to be there, can really throw off how something looks. Especially if you're looking for a clean but not clean look, like what I'm trying to do right now. I want it to look very field sketch, but I don't want it to look bad. So I just want to smooth out, make the lines a bit more uniform. Really small bits. Because there are times where your naked eye won't even see it on the actual image itself, but your brain will still notify you that something's wrong, which is a really weird sensation, and I don't like it. So then I'm just going to switch over here. We're on the wrong thing. I'm just going to fill in with a smaller pencil, kind of darken the underside of that eye. The equivalent of artist eyeshadow / eyeliner, something like that. We also want a bit more defined, jaw. Now honestly, as much as I love the big chonky brush, this is supposed to be a clear frog, which means that its outline should probably be pretty thin. So there's a high chance that I will go over this on another layer with a thinner brush. Now I do want for this, because we want it to have a real thick eye. And we really want it to be kind of vacant, is the goal here. This is not a smart frog. It's a frog. Frogs are pretty dumb. So we're just gonna color in. Oh. Then we're going to go back with our eraser. Clean up the circle itself. And then we're going to decide where we want our light to be. I really suck with light sources. Maybe I do want a smaller thing on there. Look how soft that circle is now. Is this how Bob Ross feels? Well, felt. I could get used to this. Just real calm, like, oh yeah, look how nice and soft. Now that we fill in kind of the gaps in that chonky brush, we'll make it kind of smoky. How soft it feels. So it's such a softer line than it was. Bam, look at that, so soft. Now we're going to switch and way bring down the, whoa. I'm gonna bring down the size of this. I don't mind where the, light source is on our reference image a whole bunch. I'm almost going to make a second eye. It's not bad. What happens if we really bring out that line and smooth? What was wrong with your drawing? I want to know. I'm gonna take a bite of my sandwich while I wait for the response. It's turning into an ASMR stream where I just eat food. Is this how the big streamers do it? Oh gosh, my plate. Let me tell you. I don't know what to tell you about color. I don't understand it, so I'm glad that you have found a solution to your problem. Color is so crazy to me. There are so many colors in everything that, like, my sister is a really good artist, especially with color. Paint, colored pencils, everything. She's like, you know, people with perfect pitch? My sister is like someone with perfect pitch, but for color. Where she can, like, see a color and see the individual colors that go into making that. Blows my mind every time. Where I'll be like, hey, yeah, can you do, like, this color? Then she'll be like, oh, yeah, and then she'll bring out a whole bunch of colors. Like, I'll be like, hey, and I would consider the color that I'm asking her to, like, match, like, a green. And she brings out, like, red. And, like, that's in the bunch. And I'm like, what? Why? But it works. Like, she'll just throw in, like, small little colors, and then all of a sudden, it just looks perfect, and I will never understand. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having no actual reason as to why this should work or function in any specific way. That's just what life is. So what I'm doing right now is I'm capitalizing on the fact that when zoomed out, you can't see the individual marks of this pencil. Like the big chonky one, you can tell that it has like grit and beef to it without really seeing those individual marks of it. Which is good, because the individual marks aren't what we want people to see. We just want people to know that the brush has like depth to it. And that unobtainable grit that I've been talking about for like 20 minutes and no one has any idea what I mean when I say it. Eyes being a real nuisance. No, I don't want that. Like that. Gonna bring our size way down. Too much. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We're also going to make sure that our eye doesn't have astigmatism. It's a good eye. It's a bit too clean for my preference. So, I'm going to just barely draw over it with our thick, chonky boy. Yeah, kind of muddy up that. Well, don't worry, problem's already solved. Hot. Well, I hate to be this guy because I've been having a blast having a Bob Ross Aaron Draws a Frog stream. And let me tell you, it isn't done. It isn't done. Let's see, it's 4 o'clock where I'm at. What do I have going on today? Let's see. I don't know. I will state, from a distance, Frog looks pretty alright. Without like any shading or anything. The outline of it is looking actually pretty nice. Like you can actually tell it's a frog, and that's a pretty good thing. Now there is a good option that this is a very good reference image. I'll keep going for a bit. We'll see how far it goes. Once I've really decided what I want this frog to be and where it'll go, I think that's when I'll cut it off. I'll give you what the people want, clearly, because everyone just wants to hang out and draw with Aaron all the time. Because I'm super popular and well loved. But this wouldn't be a bad like reference image, like the one with the orc. In terms of like size comparison and things like that. Man, look how dumb that frog eye looks. Not like dumb as in bad, but like it really captures the fact that this is just a real dumb frog. And I kind of love it for that. Like he's like this is a creature. This is the perfect creature to present to your party as if it isn't like threatening, like this is just dumb enough that someone would try to make it their pet. like like if you presented this drawing, like this is what it looks like, and it's just like staring at, like every once in a while it like licks its eye, and they're like, oh my god, it's so dumb. It is one dumb frog. Now the main thing is we're going to head over to our thing here, and we're going to find. So this is the one that we want. We're going to right click. We're going to copy that layer. Going to head over here. We're going to struggle to right click. Oh, we have to. We're going to paste the layer. We're going to move to our selection tool. The size of this frog that I was thinking in my head. I'm gonna stretch it down. This is probably actually a pretty good size reference as for how big this frog is compared to like your standard sized orc. Which is great, which means it's usable as a mount. It's the perfect creature. Could you imagine Tarak riding into battle? Hammer at the side, hammer at the ready. It's like it just looks like a glitch because it's clear. So like it's hard to see. He's just riding it, like leaping and bounding over the plains. And then just like all of a sudden, just a laser beam shoots out of its mouth. Such a dumb frog. I love it. It's my new friend. This is my new preferred pet, Invisifrog. Where can you get one? Well, in the future, when we are a super established streaming group with, thousands of followers, a veritable cult of followers, I'm going to kickstart a book that is going to be called Orva's Guide to the Scarlet Wastes. And then we're gonna do that, and then you can kickstart it, and you'll get a copy of it. I would love a hardcover copy of this, and then you can say, hey, I have this book, DM, that I play in a game with. Get me a frog. And then that's what's going to happen. And that is the closest thing you'll ever get to having a rideable, invisible frog that shoots lasers. So I'm sorry to like super break your dream, but this creature only lives in the realm of imagination. But yeah. Also, my favorite thing. Something that just stumbles across my mind. We're still in the Dungeons and Dragons category right now. So randomly, while scrolling through the list of people scrolling through, like looking for Dungeons and Dragons, they're going to hit some random moment that is just, why is this person drawing a frog? Which is a real joy for me. that someone could stumble across this and be like, Why is this here? Why is there a frog? What is going on? It's a thick frog. Usable as a mount, fires laser beams, and can eat people. What more could you want? This may not be what you want, but this is peak frog performance right here. This is the alpha frog. And God, look how dumb it is. Look at that eye. Like, I can't even really explain how dumb this eye looks. Look how vacant it is. It sees into your soul. And yet it knows nothing. Oh man, it's a good frog. Let's see, are we on the right thing? Yeah, we are. Okay. Let's do a bit more editing. We should probably do... I don't even know how to shade a frog like this. So we're going to go to Old Faithful. Going to bring our size down to like a 25 probably. Still using... So if we do... Let's see, if our light source is coming from here, I'm going to assume it's some kind of like cone structure coming from that kind of direction. I'm just saying, Maz, there is little cooler in life than having a trickery domain cleric riding on the back of something that no one else can see. And then it just shoots a laser out of nowhere. It's the dumbest thing. Have you seen the meme where it's the frog, but the bike below him has glitched out? And he's just like, and it's just like going, and it goes around a corner, but there's no bike below it. That's Wander. That's the trickier cleric right there. It's just invisible mounts. There's nothing better. So we're going to take our wonderful tool. We're going to darken our corners and the undersides of everything, but not too much. That's too much. Because our light is hitting it pretty dang hard. So this we can darken up everything, and then this whole thing down here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Going to clear define that. Back of its legs. We're also going to darken up there. Because the assumed shadow. Gonna give a little bit of definition of them toesies. The little toesies. This is how Grant feels every day when he says dumb things. Like toesies. But if we've noticed, there was a very crucial part to this in that this airbrush, it doesn't really fit the like same tool, like the same look as the rest of it. That's okay, because I didn't plan on it doing that. Basically, what I want the airbrush to do is give me a basis of where my shadow is. And I want it to just be real light. This is basically going to be the foundation part of our art makeup. We're going to use the little like blending eraser thing to lighten it up a bit more. Lighten up just pretty much everything that we see. The basic concept is we're going to make it streaky. So it looks less like we used two separate tools and more like we just somehow cheated. And that's just going to be great. Because, hey, cheaters never win. Sometimes they art. It's the dumbest quote I've ever said. And then this. We're also going to have the benefit of our example frog is using the same light source that we are. And so we can kind of just see where they put a bunch of their lines. And copy it. So let me tell you, trying to figure out where your light goes is difficult, and I don't know how to do it. So we need to make sure. I actually really don't like that. Smear that out of there. Then we need to make sure we really show this is its own separate thing. And we're going to bring it just a little bit in on that side. Also going to darken up there. Kind of blend them together. Invisible frogs are known to make everything better, regardless of what it is. That is a thing that is very accurate. I'm going to switch over here because I've noticed that these toes are really bugging me, and I want to make them not do that. Can I succeed in this? Honestly, I'm pretty unsure. Because frog toes are pretty darn frustrating. Because they go in a lot of angles that I wouldn't normally think that toes should go in. But that's a bit better. Now, you may wonder, Aaron, why did you choose a frog? Like, why a frog? My main thought process was, sand sucks to walk on. Sand isn't easy for animals to, pretty much anything to cross, whether it be like vehicles or like people. It's not frogs like sand isn't fun. Sand, I hate sand. It's coarse and rough and it gets everywhere. It's not like you. Now, my thought process was, how do you conquer sand? And so I thought about it, and I'm like, well, sand is like the rougher form of water, in a weird way. Um, and so I know from I play a lot of volleyball. Um, when you are running down the court in a court volleyball game, and you plant your feet, you plant them so it lands bam, bam, and your other foot is pretty far out there. You go down and you press up. But on sand volleyball, when you run, you want to put your foot down, then your other foot should be much closer to it. So it creates the most together surface area so your feet don't sink into the sand. So my thought process went, okay, so like it would be easier to walk on sand with like a really big, almost like snowshoes. Because sand is, I changed my statement. Sand is basically just dry snow. Um, so like big, chunky discs would be a lot easier to not sink into the sand than like small hooves. So like camels versus horses. Camels have those big, flat toed feet. Horses have the round hooves. Horses don't cross sand well because they just plump right into the sand. I'm like, well, what's a creature that has really big, stretched out feet that would be good for like hitting the sand and then just moving and not like sinking into the sand as much? I'm like, well, to me that seems like webbing. Webbing would do a good job of packing the sand below it and turning it into a long, like, easier to run across creature. What has webbed feet? Frogs have webbed feet. I'm like, yeah, sure. There are toads and stuff that live in the sand. So yeah, I'll just make a frog. Frogs could do pretty well in the desert depending on what they're made out of. And they would be able to still jump on the sand because they have webbed feet. And so that's my entire thought process as to why a frog that shoots lasers. Correction, why a frog? The shoots lasers was because I was like, well, if it's a frog in the desert and I want it to be a big frog, what is its danger? Like what kind of things attack it? How does it survive? And I was like, well, it would be a good thing for a creature to just be pretty invisible. So like, what if it was a clear frog? Then I was like, okay, now the whole concept of this desert is that everything is a predator to everything else. So not only does it have to be able to survive, but it has to be able to present itself as a threat. So how is it a threat? And I was like, well, if it's invisible and it's clear, what if it could like act as a magnifying glass or some kind of like mirror function, and then like use the clear part of its body to like, and the round shape of a frog to turn the like bottom of its like stomach into a reflective form, or like maybe it's like throat, like air sac, so that way it like bounces the light beams around and then it can just like beam a laser out of its mouth. And that's the entire concept behind Laser Frog. That's everything that happened and how we have arrived at this point. I also wanted to be able to eat people, because anything that eats things is cooler than things that don't eat things. And that is a life lesson for DMs. Creatures that eat other creatures are cool. Give any creature that is big enough to and has a mouth that could fit something the ability to eat a creature, and you'll have much more fun than if it couldn't. You're welcome for this advice. But yeah, so it is a frog that shoots lasers and eats medium-sized creatures or smaller. Bam, there you go. Now, I want to go back to this, and we're going to do the same thing that we did previously with the eye, except we're going to up the count. We're just going to rough in more pencil marks. just along those shadow lines. Because if it was just the pencil marks, it would look pretty gross and like dusty. But the airbrush tool creates kind of a sense of unity among the dusty little bits. And if there's one thing here at the Paper Dungeon we like, it's ooh, that's pretty dark. I'm honest. Let's go with it. Let's see how it turns out. Ooh, nope, never mind. I hate it. Get rid of it. It's unity. That's how that statement ended. Now we're just going to go to every little shadowed place that we have and just dust it. Dust it with charcoal so it makes it look like we've been using it the whole time, when in reality we've been using a much more entertaining thing. And then on the parts that get too dusty, we take our wonderful little smushy eraser, and we're just going to just kind of go over it. And it's a little too dusty. Now right now, I really don't know where I'm supposed to be putting these lines. So I'm pretty much just like trying out things that I think might look okay and just seeing where it goes from there. And if I really like it, then I'll do it a bit more, and if I really don't, or I think that it could use like a lighter bit somewhere, then we do that. It's 98% trial and error. 2% of it is actual thought. Now, what I'm not liking is that there are parts of it that, as I mentioned, don't look clean. Like, we like grit, but we don't like messy grit. Unless it's intentional. So we want to give the impression that everything was done in kind of a smooth, drawn out line, and the only reason that there's mess is because it's a charcoal pencil. And that's what they do, is they leave like little bits and bobs kind of everywhere. Places where the charcoal is like splintered off. We also want to add some definition there. To there. We also need to make sure that our toes have our whoa, a little aggressive there. too much. Gotta strike a balance between what we do like and what we don't like. Because sometimes having things that you don't like adds to a piece, even though you don't like it. Because it's important to know, especially for like the type of look that I want, which is that kind of like field, like document, that like a research document almost, is that they would still make mistakes in that. It couldn't be perfect. And so if you fix everything and don't leave like smudges or places where the hand like touched the art and things like that, then that isn't very accurate as to the look that you're going for. So you want some mistakes. But they look like mistakes that were from accidental like oversights, not just like messy extra lines. You want to create the illusion of imperfection while also being naturally imperfect. Because purposeful imperfection is good. Accidental imperfection is not as good. Especially if you're like me and you're not very good at a lot of art things. If you're really good at art, then they add to the piece naturally. I'm not. Another thing to note is that field artists don't have a whole lot of erasers, especially if this was drawn by an orc. Rubber and eraser capabilities are not very prevalent in their culture. So leaving eraser marks isn't great. Like, you don't want that line, because that line's not fun. There's just a little bit of the insight into Aaron's mind whenever he's drawing things. So now, what I want is, I think I want that, and I just want to give the faintest idea. Ooh, that is the. Turn it up to 100 opacity. What we're going to do is we're going to turn this back on. Bring its opacity way down. I'm also going to zoom out, because only now have I realized that our we're on the wrong paint layer to be doing that. I'm going to try to remember how exactly this worked. Before we moved it all, messed it all up. Yeah, about there. Opacity's way down. We're going to head back to here. Now we're going to head over to... That's just there. We're going to follow kind of what we did. But not fully. So that way. Come to think of it, I actually don't like that. I'm going to reverse time. As far back as we can go, which is probably about there. We're going to make another layer. We're just going to... Now the nice part about it is they don't have to actually see what is going on. Since the frog is supposed to be invisible, theoretically, yes, you could see to the other side of it. But you already shouldn't be able to really see much of the frog. Since it's invisible. So all we need to do is have shadows that imply that there is something invisible on the other side of an already invisible object. Easy peasy, you know? And my kind of thought process is that its foot would probably be like there-ish. And then heads out. Not super noticeable. But more so than it could be. Now we're just going to clean it up. A little bit harder to see. Same thing with its upper arm. Which is real silent lines. Silent pretend lines. That's our favorite type of lines. Lines that aren't real. Oh, that's weird. question is, what if we do my favorite trick? Try spinning, that's a good trick. Let's combine the two. Switch over to here. Invisible frog. We're going to do the artist thing. We're going to reverse shade is what we're going to do here. So we are going to cross hatch with an eraser. Which I did on a previous thing. You can see it in there. I cross-hatched with the like little blending eraser thing because I was like, something's not feeling right about this, and then it just kind of smoothed it all out. And I'm not sure if it makes it better or worse. I kind of like that it's harder to see, but also not that it's harder to see. But the nice part about cross-hatching with an eraser is that it's a lot harder to see imperfections if you cross-hatch the whole thing. Also, I love cross-hatching. I love hatching, cross-hatching. That's my ideal way to shade stuff. Specifically on paper and pencil. On digital, I hate it. Like, so much. I kind of like that better. I think I just like hatching instead of cross-hatching. It kind of gives it the like VHS like lines across the screen look. If I demonstrate, bam! Look at that. It's kind of invisible frog. I like it. I'm going to switch over to this. Get rid of our imaginary light source. Well, we have officially drawn a semi-invisible frog. It has been 3 hours, give or take, well, more like 2 hours and 45 minutes. After technical issues, some Dungeons and Dragons speak and whatnot. I have had a good time. I guess. I suppose it hasn't been terrible. I'm gonna turn back this direction. Thanks everyone for stopping by. I know that I've seen a lot of people hanging out that I haven't seen before. This is Table Scraps. We do this every week on Thursdays. I'm its host, Aaron. I play in our main campaign on Mondays. We're the Paper Dungeon. We play Dungeons and Dragons. It's great. Our DM for the Monday campaign was with us previously before his internet decided to give out, and I was left alone drawing a frog. But yeah, the things that I have to say now. What do I normally do? I'm normally so smooth with this when I have other people around watching what's happening. We have oh geez, what's it called? We have socials. We have social things. Lydia's on it. We have TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, a whole bunch of other things. YouTube Shorts. Perhaps most importantly, we have a Discord. The Discord is a very, very vital part, in my opinion, to what we do. We talk in it. Lydia posts memes and art, and we talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and perhaps most importantly, we notify when we're going live with Table Scraps, because it's it's on Thursdays. It's in the afternoon. What time in the afternoon differs by the day. As for what we talk about here, differs on the day. But yeah, check us out there. Join in the Discord. Be a part of it. Be ready to rock and do stuff. And Oh, geez, is there anything else that... Oh, Lydia has a store. Lydia has a wonderful, awesome little store that she has a whole bunch of stuff. Apparently, she has a Christmas line that was not informed about. Actually, I was informed about it, but I want to pick on Lydia, so I was not informed about it. And you should buy her stuff because we like Lydia, and Lydia has cool stuff. Honestly, the second part is probably more important as to why you should buy stuff. Like the fact that we like Lydia doesn't really matter to someone who's buying an item. You should buy it because it's cool, and Lydia makes cool stuff. Other than that, I think the only thing that I have left to say, as soon as I can find the right... Haha! I found the right screen. The only thing I have left to say is good luck and godspeed, everyone. Our wonderful Dungeoneers. We will see you next week. As a reminder, next Monday, it's our last main campaign stream of this year. So be there. We're going to fight a dragon on a flying boat. We are on the boat, not the dragon. Have a good day. Have a good rest of your day, all you Dungeoneers out there. Thanks for stopping by.